Welcome back to The Hill on NewsNation. I am Mike Vaquera. As Florida Governor Ron DeSantis prepares to formally get into the Republican primary race next week, he's working to build his network of support. Today, visiting the first in the nation primary state, New Hampshire, which of course is the Granite State, to greet local Republican supporters. And next week, he'll be meeting with financial backers in Miami. One of those donors is Dan Eberhard, who previously gave to Donald Trump's campaign, and he joins us now from Fort Myers. What does Ron DeSantis have that Donald Trump doesn't? That's my question to you. Why'd you switch sides?
Well, look, I think he's got a record of proven conservative governance, and I think that he's shown that he's got coattails in the last two elections he's been involved in. And I think that Donald Trump, appears to run out of gas. I don't think Trump hasn't faced primary voters in 7 years. And I think that when primary voters get in the ballot box, they're not going to vote Back to the Future. They're going to vote for a proven conservative leader that doesn't have the baggage. And that's why I see, Governor DeSantis is the obvious choice to me.
Hi, it's Ashley. Hi. Don't you think it's a little soon to kind of determine who's going to be the front runner or not the front runner? We've seen Governor DeSantis take on Mickey Mouse. He hasn't really taken any hard hits at Donald Trump. He hasn't really taken any hard hits at Joe Biden. So at what point are we going to actually see him take some real shots? And again, don't you think it's a little early to kind of determine who's going to be the front runner in this race?
Well, I don't think it's early. I think Donald Trump is clearly the front runner and Governor DeSantis is the underdog. I would also say he's not actually in the race yet, but I think he's shown that, with this Disney thing that he has his convictions and he's going to see it through. And there's ups and downs in this kind of battle with Disney, but he stands, with Florida voters and Florida families on it. And I think as far as Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I think you're going to see, him continue to lay out policy differences like he did in Iowa last weekend.
Hey, Dan, Rena Shaw here. Just wanted to ask you what you think, as a Floridian, about the people who are saying DeSantis' campaign is dead on arrival if he announces next week. So I have a two-part question, really. What do you think of him potentially announcing next week? And then secondly, what do you think of the strategy he's employing right now, going hard right, knowing he can come to the center if he does win the presidency and can govern towards the center?
Well, look, I think as far as his announcement being dead on campaign being dead on arrival, I think it's really quite the opposite. I think there's a huge amount of momentum, a huge amount of people that want to get him in the race. If you see he's in Florida, Iowa, New Hampshire, he's endorsed, I think something like a combined 200 state legislators have endorsed him, far eclipsing what Trump has in that regard. And I think that, what was the second part of your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, the political strategy he's employing, going really hard right, trying to peel off voters from the MAGA universe, doing these really conservative actions, whether it's getting rid of AP African-American studies or what he's doing with Disney, which isn't very conservative at all, in my opinion. But really, yeah, going hard right with the intention to come to the center. What do you think of the strategy at this point, particularly as a donor?
Look, I think that's where the party is. I think the party wants a very conservative ideology and a proven winner. And I think that Ron DeSantis is the right messenger for that. And I think he can do that without the baggage. As far as moving to the center, look, he won Miami-Dade County. He's the first statewide elected official to win Republican to win Miami-Dade County in over a generation, I think. He from when he was originally elected to when he was reelected, he flipped, Miami and Palm Beach counties, which are historically blue. I think he's also proven that he had coattails statewide where we picked up open state legislative seats as well. So I think that shows that he can convince the persuadable voters, look, I've got policies that are good for Florida and that ultimately will be good for America. And he's shown that he can grow the economy and provide effective leadership. And people want more of that, not less of that in Florida.
Okay, Dan, you went from Donald Trump. You are now with Ron DeSantis. We're going to be hearing more from you in the future, I hope. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.